Today, the red flag of the Long March is being carried by the grandchildren of the revolution. But their communist ancestors would have been appalled at the future for which these children are being prepared. It's a future which will shape not only China, but the coming century. The flag they salute doesn't stand for the same ideas anymore. These children live in a city where capitalism, free enterprise, and personal wealth are not only accepted, they are an obsession. The students of the Shenzhen Experimental School aren't preparing for the commune. They're marching to the boardroom.
My father is manager. I want to be manager. I want to be our manager. I want to be manager.
These will be China's contenders in the global economic contest, and they live in one of the most remarkable cities in the world. Shenzhen is China's experiment with capitalism. The leader, Deng Xiaoping, blessed the free market with one sentence: it doesn't matter if a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice. And this cat catches mice. In a single decade, Shenzhen grew from 20,000 to 3 million. The Bank Lion and the Mercedes replaced the Red Star. At China's first stock exchange, thousands elbow to buy shares. Workers stream from hundreds of new factories built with Western money, competing with Western workers for a fraction of the wage. This will soon be the world's largest consumer market. It is already the fastest growing economy in the world. This is not the Hong Kong-China border. This is the border between two economic realities within China. Electrified and strung with barbed wire, this fence stretches for a couple of 100 miles to enclose the special economic zone of Shenzhen. Its purpose is to keep the rest of China out. But they come anyway, to the railway station at Guangzhou, 100 miles away. Peasants and professors, they have saved money for months, even years, to travel across China to get this far. A connection, a friend, or a bribe will get them the permit to board this train to the free enterprise zone. 5,000 people a week make it to Shenzhen. It's one of the largest human migrations in the world today, people streaming into southern China looking for work. The magnet which draws most of them is just north of Hong Kong. In the special economic zone of Shenzhen, 13 years ago, China allowed foreign investment. And the migrants end up at the Shenzhen Labor Exchange, competing for jobs in hotels or factories. A waitress in a restaurant here can earn 3 times the wage of a doctor in the rest of China, and the word has spread.
There are many good jobs in Shenzhen. I just came here to look, to see with my own eyes.
These are scientists looking for jobs as tour guides. school teachers dreaming of being receptionists. Here are the bright, the young, and the ambitious, giving up their state-assigned jobs and coming here with their diplomas and what they call their TOEFL scores, their English language certificates.
This is the TOEFL score. TOEFL score. I took TOEFL in March. My score is 623. Actually, I have been accepted by 6 universities in the United States, but I'm not able to go abroad to further my study. So I resigned and come here to find a job.
Li Dad-chun is 26, and he didn't resign from any ordinary job. He has a master's degree in physics and was a computer programmer at the Institute for Radiation Protection. It took him a year to save enough money to come here, where he can afford only 10 days in a shared hostel room. 10 days to find a job.
In my spare time, I used to memorize English words from dictionary, like Oxford Advanced English Dictionary. So up to now, I have memorized over 20,000 English words from it.
20,000 English words from the Oxford Dictionary?
Yes.
He's traveled 1,400 miles to gamble on a better life. Li Dad-chun is the eldest son of the village Communist Party head and would normally inherit the family's farm in Fujian. But instead, he's writing a letter home pretending that he came here to visit an old school friend. Have you told your family that you're in Shenzhen?
No, I haven't, because I don't want to worry my parents. I think my coming here to look for a job is very risky. Maybe I failed. In that case, it may worry my parents.
Stephen Wan has also traveled far to get to Shenzhen, 10,000 miles from his home in Canada, but in greater comfort than Li Dad-chun, in the cabin of a jumbo jet. His presence here, however, is just as significant a sign of change.
You know, rather than the Wild West movie, you see the heroes wearing a gun, they usually carry a cellular phone. I guess that's the difference. I paid almost 9,000 US dollars for my cellular phone from the black market.
And this dinner at a Shenzhen restaurant is going to cost Stephen Wan 1,500 pounds. He sells North American windows, doors, and roofing shingles, a good business in this booming real estate market. So he's entertaining this municipal developer and 2 bank officials. But this Canadian businessman has been here before. He was born in China and grew up in Mao's Cultural Revolution. 25 years ago, Stephen Wan was a Red Guard, until they imprisoned his father and put his mother under house arrest. Disgraced, the young student was banished to stoke furnaces in a remote factory. But his ingenuity got him promoted and eventually restored to his family, where in a turn of fortune, an American professor invited him to study at Stanford University in California. He graduated, worked in Silicon Valley, then moved to a suburban businessman's life in Montreal. A toast to the Red Guard who returned to sell windows and doors in China. And in these building sites, Stephen Wan has struck a rich commercial vein. A new Chinese middle class is demanding Western-style homes.
This is called the Jiming Low-Rise Housing Park, and average selling price about 250,000 US dollars each.
$250,000 US dollars each. There are people in China who can afford to buy homes at 250,000 US.
Oh yeah. In fact, the total project has been pre-sold.
The boom is so vast that Stephen Wan plans to set up a nationwide chain of building supply centers and hasn't had time to go home.
I only planned to stay here for a few months, but as a result, I've been here for almost 10 months. Never got a single chance to go back. My family visited twice in China because you see the business opportunities. Once you started your business, you formed your base. The opportunities simply like the snowballs thrown to you.
Opportunities just thrown to you. Shenzhen is a rich oasis in a struggling country, the California in a Chinese gold rush. It is a magnet for the nouveau riche and for the migrant laborers. For the office worker who brought his entire extended family. It's the last stop for the desperate and the first stop for the foreign businessmen who are coming here in their thousands to harness the new China's greatest natural resource, boundless, compliant labor. This is the catered toy manufacturing plant. 4,000 teenage girls make Christmas morning dreams for children in London, Berlin, and Los Angeles. Electric trains for Europe and North America. Anne of Green Gables from Prince Edward Island, packaged by Zhu Wenmei from Hunan. The doll will cost £25 apiece. The worker will earn £25 a month. Mi Xiang has been spraying one yellow line on a Santa Fe locomotive for 5 weeks. The fumes around her are stifling. Yi Ke-chun came from Sichuan 4 years ago when she was 15 and has only been home once. The doll is called Hush Little Baby, and her job is to make sure it cries. 2,000 dolls a day roll off her line.
那你在这里的生活，你能不能谈一谈哈？生活怎么样呢？你觉得？
生活一般化，也过得去。
习惯吗？
习惯。
那其他的人呢，在这里呢，他们觉得生活怎么样？
其他的也是一样。有了钱了，打算呐，只要为自己或者做一点什么生意啊，都要说会，要先找一份工作，要拿钱买呀，是这样。
你做什么生意呢？
我打算了，做这些卖东西啊，这些生意啊。
那么做工作也要买的？
那也要买。
Not only will Yi Ke-chun have to pay someone to get a good job in the future, many of these workers had to bribe labor officials back home just to get on the list to come here. It costs them a quarter of their income to eat these meals and to sleep here. Dormitory room 502. After a morning on the Hush Little Baby assembly line, Yi Ke-chun would rather sleep than eat. There are 16 workers to a room. Their bunks are their only personal space. All 4,000 workers live in concrete dormitories next to the factory. They'll often work 14-hour days, 6 days a week. And so the country girls of Sichuan come to Shenzhen to find their place in the new global economy. At Northern Telecom's joint venture factory, a different parable of the global economy. And a farewell to Jerry Jones.
I'm not going to talk about business anymore.
After 5 years, the director from Warwickshire is saying goodbye to the manager he trained, the son of a Chinese Air Force general. This is a joint venture between Northern Telecom and a Chinese state enterprise. It's a good deal for both. Northern Telecom gets cheap labor and access to the Chinese market. China gets sophisticated technology because they're not making talking dolls here.
It's like, yes. Okay, I called the Beijing office and I find the...
They make state-of-the-art telephone exchanges. In a short time, this factory has outperformed multinationals like Philips and Siemens to become #1 in its field in China.
The people in the factory here, they come in, they get 2 10-minute breaks, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, plus lunch. But you'll find that they don't come in and sit down and start talking about what was on the TV last night, go looking for a cup of coffee, sit down and have a cigarette. So I would say they're better, but I'm saying they're as good as any team I had before.
These women are making the identical circuit boards that Northern Telecom makes in North America for 1/20th the wage. But for Huang Bin, who is 19, it's more than she'd make anywhere else in China. And she considers herself lucky.
刚来的时候呢，就说也是自己第一次出家门嘛，所以还是比较想家的。不过后来慢慢就习惯了，而且这个公司很不错，住房啊什么待遇都是很好的，所以我爸妈也就比较放心了。
There's a dance tonight at a neighboring factory. Halfway around the world, Northern Telecom headquarters has just announced 5,000 layoffs in their worldwide operations. There were no layoffs in Shenzhen. The statue of a Chinese hero overlooks Shenzhen and the South China Sea. But the soul of Imperial Commissioner Lin cannot be resting easy as he guards the gateway to China's interior, the Pearl River. He stood here once before, 150 years ago. He saw the British ships carrying the opium that was destroying his people. Commissioner Lin, immortalized in this Chinese film, rallied the people, ordered the opium seized and dumped into the Pearl River. And he watched as revenge came in the form of the British Navy, protecting the opium cartels. In the Chinese version of history, he wins the battle. In reality, the British won the Opium Wars. But once again, the river he guards is the key to China. At the mouth of the river lies Shenzhen. But Shenzhen is the brash child of an ancient parent. 100 miles upriver is the great southern capital, Canton. In Chinese, its name is Guangzhou. 6 million people. After the foreigners build their factories in Shenzhen, they come to Guangzhou, the gateway to hundreds of millions of consumers. the British brought schooner loads of opium to Guangzhou and sold it from their warehouses on the street of the 13 factories. Today, the opium market is a roller skating rink. The ancient walls which the British stormed in the Opium Wars are being breached again by Western corporations dreaming of the greatest market on earth. So this American has a deadline to meet. Tom No is a golf course designer from New Mexico.
We'll get him to get all that stuff over there and smooth that all up, start pushing that stuff into the bank.
There are so many Western executives coming here that Guangzhou is building a 20 million pound golf course with condominiums in the middle of the city's oldest park. It's a joint venture between foreign investors and the enterprising officials of this city, who have evolved a markedly different attitude to Western invasion than Commissioner Lin.
Well, right now, I know for a fact the membership committee is talking to Sony Corporation, Panasonic, Mitsubishi, Peugeot, Singer, P&G, which is Procter & Gamble, Blowpack from Malaysia, a Singapore real estate firm. So we're going to have all sorts of nationalities, including the Chinese, on one golf course.
There are obstacles. The pace of construction can be frustrating, as can the discovery of an ancient graveyard. A few months ago, they found the tomb of a 14th century princess. The museum took that, but for the rest, the authorities have a simple solution: grave robbers. They're allowed to loot the cemetery in return for a kickback to the police. And Tom No is told to mind his own business and just meet the deadline.
But right now, the second stage of the golf membership is 320,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is approximately 30,000 US.
30,000 US. And how many members are expected to sign up for that?
They've planned on selling 200 in stages and a total membership of 1,200.
1,200 times 30,000 would give us what?
Lots of money.
Guangzhou is changing at an extraordinary rate. Take the case of Lillian Li. She is China's top-selling Avon lady. There are 17,000 Avon ladies in this province. Lillian Li used to work for a state-run factory. Now, 140 Avon ladies work for her.
咁我畢業之後咧，就學校將我分配咗去一間食品公司啦。咁呢間食品公司咧，佢由於係國營嘅機制啊，咁佢就工作量好少咯。咁每日咧就應該講係同報紙打交道啊。咁我覺得即係話喺嗰度每日8個鐘嘅上班時間就浪費咗我時間咯。
Every month, 20,000 bottles of blush beige foundation. Every year, 250,000 jars of gentle night cream. The Avon factory here is a joint venture with the state-owned Guangzhou Cosmetics Factory, which profits handsomely from the partnership, as will Avon, by reaching a population which grows by the equivalent of one Australia a year, one United States every 10 years. Her name is Pretty Huang. She's the number 2 Avon lady in China.
This
is the apartment of Mr. and Mrs. Liu, factory workers, and their daughter who works in a fashionable clothing store.
都幾好喎。
見到隻眼大咗係咪？
係咯。
大咗有神咗咯。
呢啲係幾錢嘅啫？
呢支就40蚊嘅。平時啊？
Pretty's customer, Linda Liu, spends a fifth of her income on cosmetics.
大概幾分鐘之後咧，佢就乾㗎啦。嗱，我而家就淨係搽你一隻眼，咁我呢隻眼咧就唔搽。一陣間你可以攞塊鏡嚟對比一下，搽到同冇搽係有咩區別咯。
25 years ago, her mother would have been denounced if she wore makeup.
或者可以俾你媽媽睇下。
呢個啲啊，梗係嗰邊靚啦。
Everywhere, they're dreaming of change. The amateur karaoke night in Shenzhen. This is the only entertainment the newcomers to Shenzhen can afford. Yin Ping is a school teacher from Guizhou. She's hoping someone will give her a job in a nightclub. And Li Chun is here with a plan. He will get on stage to demonstrate his English. Perhaps word will get around and someone will offer him a job as an interpreter or a guide. He knows he's no singer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the song I'm going to sing is called 500 Miles. Lord, I'm one, Lord, I'm two, Lord, I'm three, Lord, I'm four, Lord, I'm 500 miles from my home.
7 days with no luck. He's applied to be a secretary, but employers tell him, though his English is good, they'd rather have an attractive young woman.
Lord, I'm 500 miles from my home.
He can afford nothing on this street and has enough money for only 2 more days in Shenzhen. Tomorrow morning, he's going to a rubber factory, which is advertised for an English-speaking clerk.
Listening to the Voice of America. The United Nations top humanitarian official has criticized the UN operation.
Li Chun has listened to Voice of America every night for 3 years, ever since he was accepted by the graduate schools he can't afford to attend. A job in Shenzhen is only a step towards a bigger obsession.
If I go to the United States, the first step is for me to get a master's degree in engineering. After that, a master's degree of business administration. Yeah. After my getting that degree, I will work. Yeah. In that case, I think I will be rich.
The next morning at the Ligo Silicone Rubber Company. The vacancy is a junior one, which pays the equivalent of £60 a month.
Georgia Institute of Technology, 那个学校更好。
That's 3 times as much as Li Chun earned back home. They'll let him know in a few days. Across town, Stephen Wan is having breakfast in the Forum Hotel. Once again, he's flown his family in from Canada because he's too busy to go home. The construction business is just too good.